bang on time, we've got the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloon Championship contenders, sponsored by Hallow Report. They are arriving on the grid now for the start of their race. It's going to be a 12-lap race for them. Alistair Coates on pole position in car 32, an MGB GTV8. The same type of car is on alongside him on the front row. That's number 13, Alistair Baptiste. Second row, we've got 91, Craig Houston in his Lotus XL, and the 51 car of Ewan Anderson, another MGB GTB8. Andrew Kinmond has put his TVR Vixen fifth on the grid, number 62, alongside the similarly coloured car, the bright orange number 88 Triumph Tier 8 of Shawnee Patterson. John Kinmond and Jimmy Crowe are on the next row, number 63 and 21, an Austin Mini and a Scimitar Coupe. Then Paul Bowers Fiat hopefully is going to line up 9th position. Yes, he's there. He had problems in qualifying, had to get towed back in at the end of qualifying, but good to see he is there in car 71. Ian Mitchell, number 11, reigning champion in the class, in Class A. He's lining up 10th. Then behind them we've got the 666 car of Aaron Hunter, a Ford Fiesta XR2, and a similar Ford Fiesta of Sonny Gray, number 23, beside him in 12th position. 13th and 14th, Jim Grant in the white Lotus Elan. Good to see him back. Don't remember seeing him for a while on these grids. He's there 13th, 14th to 67, Richard Cooper's Ginetta, and at the back we've got Tony Leese's Volkswagen Golf, which looks almost too modern for a classic sports saloon race, but it's there nonetheless, and Michael Longstaff's MG Midget at the back at number 5. Cars are lined up and ready to go. We're just getting into the countdown now. The start line marshals have given the OK from the back of the grid. Red lights are coming on. Engine notes rising. It's going to be a drag race of V8 engines to the first corner. Long hold on the red lights away. We've got Alistair Baptiste off like a rocket, and so is the 51 car of Ewan Anderson from behind him. So they go into first and second position, ahead of pole position man Alistair Coates, who's demoted to third, but he might outbreak himself into second. No, they are 1, 2, 3 for the MGBs, and then I think that's Shawnee Patterson in his V8 engine TR8 behind them. So that's 4 British Leyland V8 engines, first, second, third and fourth, ahead of the Lotus XL of Craig Houston, who drops to 5th from 3rd on the grid. So the MGBs sprint away along the back straight, everybody safely through past the chicane, and into Clark Corner comes Alistair Baptiste, and he's sprinting away in fine style from the rest of the field. He's already opened up a significant gap, and here comes the pole position man number 32, Alistair Coates, the challenge for second place, but breaks significantly earlier than Ewan Anderson in the green MG. So Ewan Anderson retains his second place, but Alistair Coates in the white MG seems to have a bit more power and goes cruising past on the straight. So 32 back into second position ahead of the 51 of Ewan Anderson. He drops now down to third after his demon start from the second row. Shawnee Patterson then in fourth. Then it's Craig Houston's Lotus, and we've got the TVR Vixen of Andrew Kinmond behind them in 5th position. Next up is Jimmy Crowe in the Scimitar, and then we've got the Austin Mini of John Kinmond. That's a fantastic performance by John Kinmond, because that's a car that's carrying a fraction of the power of many of the others in this race, and yet he's got there in 8th position. Started 7th, he's dropped 1 place to 8th, but that's forgivable, given that we're on a pure dry track and the Mini really comes into its own in the wet. Into the hairpin to go for the second time, and Alistair Baptiste looking reasonably comfortable in the lead, but we'll need to keep an eye on the timing computer here, because the second place car, Alistair Coates, has got phenomenal straight line speed. It's immensely powerful. I think it's just a few more horsepower in that car now than there were when it left the factory. I think that's fair to say. It's a monster on the straights, and that is keeping him actually pretty close to Alistair Baptiste. He was 1.3 seconds down last time around, and let's see if he can maintain that. In terms of lap times, he is the quickest man on track. It's 32, Alistair Coates. He's done a 57.942 to Alistair Baptiste's best of a 58.4, so this could get tasty actually. Alistair Baptiste slides his way through Clark Corner, and Alistair Baptiste's got a very entertaining driving style. Likes to steer a car on the throttle sometimes when he can, if he's got enough power. That's exactly what he's been doing around the lap here, and that is keeping Alistair Coates in contact. Alistair Coates relying on straight line power to build his lap time, and he's not letting Alistair Baptiste get away here. Alistair Baptiste opened up a big gap, 1.5 seconds on the opening lap of the race, but Alistair Coates is on a similar performance to him. This time round, Alistair Baptist's taking the fastest lap of the race, a 57.659. So that's just a couple of tenths quicker than Alistair Coates' best. Alistair Coates setting a best at this time round as well. Ewan Anderson on 59.001. So Ewan Anderson dropping away a little bit from the leading pair. And Ewan Anderson, in fact, will just have to keep an eye on his mirror because just coming over the horizon towards him is Shawnee Patterson's Triumph TR8. Easy to spot in the bright orange paintwork, it has to be said, if you're looking for that in your mirror. But Shawnee not close enough at the moment to be within striking distance. Further down the field, John Kinman still holding his own in the number 63 Mini. And next up behind him is the Lotus Elan of Jim Grant. So Jim Grant some way behind. In fact, Jim Grant is holding off reigning champion Ian Mitchell. Ian Mitchell is another of these drivers that last year scored a 100% record. He won his class every single time out. He didn't always have it easy. He had to fight for those class wins, but he got them every single time. That was a fantastic performance. But John Kinman in the Mini, currently leading Class A, as Alistair Baptiste goes even quicker now. Alistair Baptiste set another fastest lap of the race, a 57.579. That's 3 tenths quicker than Alistair Coates' fastest. So I think Baptiste beginning to extend the lead. He's now 2.2 seconds ahead. So he's got that one nailed. Now, moving up through the field are Sonny Gray in the XR2 and Aaron Hunter. Now let's see where they've ended up at the moment. The two XR2s are at the 14th and 16th position. It's the Volkswagen Golf of Tony Lees that's moving up. He's up to 12th position now from the back of the grid, and he's taken Michael Longstaff with him. So the two of them are moving up through. 12th and 13th they've got to now from the back of the grid, and they've passed the two XR2s. And Richard Cooper, 67, and Ginetta, second from the back of the mid-15th position. Meanwhile, at the front, Alistair Baptiste still leads in the number 13 car from Alistair Coates in the 32, Ewan Anderson in the 51. So those three MGB GTV8s at the front, and then Shawnee Patterson's Triumph TR8 ahead of Craig Houston's Lotus. And then we have Andrew Kinman in the 62 car, which is the TVR Vixen. So Alistair Baptiste leading the race is already starting to lap people. He's now lapped he's now lapped the 67 car of Richard Cooper. So that's the Ginetta being lapped by Alistair Baptiste, and Alistair's going to find himself catching quite a busy knot of traffic now, because he's going to be up to the back of Sonny Gray's XR2 in just a few corners time. They're just going through the chicane just now, and Alistair Baptiste will catch the XR2 on the run towards Clark Corner, and he's passed the XR2 on the way into Clark Corner. His next target is to pass the Volkswagen Golf of Tony Lees. And Tony seen him coming, gets out of the way, as does Michael Longstaff in the number 5 MP Midget. So Alistair Baptiste now well through the field in terms of lapping everybody, but coming through behind him will be Alistair Coates. Alistair Coates now 4.9 seconds down as we reach the halfway point of the race. And it's Paul Bowers and Ian Mitchell are going to be the next cars to be lapped as Alistair Baptiste catches them going into Duffers. What a move by Alistair Baptiste. That was a late lunge to pass both Bowers and Ian Mitchell. Ian Mitchell luckily saw Alistair Baptiste coming there, because the closing speed was quite significant as they went into Duffers there. But and Alistair Baptiste's next target is the Lotus of Jim Grant, which he will pass before they get to Clark Corner, and then he's got clear track ahead of him again. So a little delay as he's worked his way through that, but he's still 6 seconds now ahead of Alistair Coates, and still holds the fastest lap of the race at 57.341. Looking down the classes, Alistair Baptiste is leading Class E, and the first 4 cars in the row are all Class E cars, all these V8 engined British Leyland cars, the 3 MGs and the Triumph TR8. Class B is being led by Andrew Kinman in the number 62 TVR Vixen. Class G is Jimmy Crow in the Scimitar Coupe, and Class A is with John Kinman in the number 63 Austin Mini. Jim Grant is in Class I, and he's leading that, down in 9th place overall. And Class B, we've done Class B, the XR class is being led by Sonny Gray in 13th position overall, car 23. So that's where the class positions are at the moment. 8 laps completed, 4 to go. Alistair Baptist still in front by a margin now of 7 seconds. He's pulling away at close to a second a lap from the opposition. So a crushing display by Alistair Baptist. As we saw in the early stages, his car is not the fastest in a straight line. That honour goes to Alistair Coates, but in terms of getting round corners at speed, Alistair Baptist's car is the best sorted, highest grip car that's out there. Alistair Coates has now worked his way through all that traffic that Alistair Baptist had to pick his way through, so Alistair Coates will come out the hip and he'll just catch the back end of Alistair Baptist's car disappearing over the brow of the hill. So he's still just about the visual contact, but by the time he gets over the brow of the hill, Alistair Baptist has disappeared down Duffus, so he's only just keeping Alistair Baptist in sight and no more, with the gap now at just 7.5 seconds as Alistair Coates was delayed working his way through the traffic. Alistair Coates still lapping quickly in the 59s. Alistair Baptist in the mid-58s now. They've done their fastest laps of the race in the early stages to establish their positions, but with 3 laps to go, performance tends to go off on these cars, which usually find that about a third to halfway through the races when they set their absolute fastest times, when the balance between fuel load and tyre performance is at its optimum. And then as you get towards the end of the race, although the fuel load lightens, which is worth a little bit of extra lap time, the tyre performance, well, the tyres start to get a little bit tired, particularly in these very powerful V8 engine cars, so the performance starts to slip away a little bit towards the end, just by the odd tenth here and there. It's a very subtle effect, but we usually see maximum performance in these cars in third to halfway through the race, so we're well past that stage now, as we see Ewan Anderson in the 51 car lapping Jim Grant's Lotus. Jim Grant still in the top 10 overall though, in that white Lotus Elan number 25, and he is in 9th position. The Lotus Elan, a great piece of engineering actually. It's a 1960s car, believe it or not, and it's still very, very rapid, and it's a great competition car even today. Amazing influence of Colin Chapman through the history of the car. We saw a Caterham R400, which is originally a Colin Chapman design from the 1950s. We've got a Lotus Elan in this race, a Colin Chapman design from the 1960s, and then we've got a Lotus of the 1970s and 80s era in terms of the Lotus Excel of Craig Houston, which is running 5th overall in this race. And they're all built to ultra lightweight, they're all built for the maximum possible grip and road holding, the best possible handling, and that's Lotus's reputation built on those attributes. And Craig Houston's car, although it looks larger, it's still very lightweight. It's a fiberglass shell that is built around with a steel backbone chassis, and very, very effective. As we can see, the two Lotuses together actually going to the Beechlands Bridge, the tiny little white Elan of Jim Grant being lapped by Craig Houston's much more modern number 91 Lotus Excel. I say more modern, but that's still a 40-plus-year-old car. Out of the hairpin, a little bit of overtaking going on as Paul Bowers passes the Ginetta of Richard Cooper. It's one of the very earliest Ginetta models, that in 67, quite away from the Genesis we see racing today as the checkered flag is out. Yes, that's Alistair Baptist. In fact, he's just won the race. I wasn't sure if the checkered flag had waved it or not, but Alistair Baptist passed the checkered flag. He's won the race. 12 laps completed, 32. Alistair Coates in 2nd position, and then Ewan Anderson coming home now in 3rd in the number 51 MGB GTV8. So it's a 1-2-3 for MGB GTV8s. Alistair Baptist, Alistair Coates and Ewan Anderson. Coming home 4th then is Shawnee Patterson, and actually he's not that far ahead of Craig Houston's Lotus in 5th position. So 88 Shawnee Patterson 4th, Craig Houston in the Lotus number 91 is 5th, and then next up is Andrew Kinmond in the TVR Vixen number 62, and next overall will be Jimmy Crowe. There's a few other lapped cars between them all, but Jimmy Crowe crossing the line now to take 7th position in his number 21 Scimitar Coupe. Next up is Andrew Kinmond. So last couple of cars home are going to be the XR2 of Sonny Gray, then Paul Bowers' Fiat, who finishes just ahead of Richard Cooper. That was a little battle going on in the last couple of laps of the race in Class A, but Richard Cooper finished there. And Aaron Hunter, 666, the XR2, a non-finisher in that one, so unfortunately he only completed 4 laps. So the winner overall, then Alistair Baptist, car 13, who also took the fastest lap of the race, a 57.341, and he finished 11.07 seconds ahead of Alistair Coates, number 32. and Ewan Anderson, number 51, in third position. Class winners: Alistair Bapty wins Class E. Class B is won by Craig Houston. Class G by Jimmy Crow. Class A, John Kinmond. And then Class I, Jim Grant. The XR class by Sonny Gray. So you'll see them coming around to the Parc Fermé area now, and they'll get a word with Chris and Alistair Bapty. Not always microphone friendly, and not in a good way. I'll have to have the bleep machine ready, but see how you get on, Chris.
It's okay. It's okay. We can do it. We can use that. We can bleep out stuff in the edit, but assuming we even do edits on radio programming here at Knockhill. But the cars now pulling themselves into the victory circle area. And that Alistair Bapty car looks absolutely resplendent. It absolutely does. In fact, I think I've even seen pictures of this car competing in the Thunder Saloons, the special saloons and mod sports in the VSCC.